We have just passed the halfway point of the season for the Vancouver Canucks, and they are bad. How bad? Well, let's get into it. Before the season, I made predictions for each one of the players based on how many points I thought they were going to get this season and how good I thought they were going to do. We are going to compare what their pace is at the moment, how many points they have, to what I predicted, and see how bad the individual players for the Vancouver Canucks have done. I did not do a record prediction. I definitely should have done that, but this is kind of a mid-season check-in. How are the players doing? How is the team doing? So let's start off with the team. Through 43 games, the Vancouver Canucks are 16-22-5 with 37 points. Good enough for second last in the league. They have 10 regulation wins, 12 regulation and overtime wins. They're currently on a 2-game losing streak, and their last 10, they're 3-5-2. They have a 13.5% chance odds of winning the lottery, and they have the 13.5% chance at winning the first overall pick. They're not doing great. No, in terms of my predictions where I thought they would be this season, at the end of the season, I did do an end season prediction. I said that they would be top 3 in the division. Now, the division current top 3 are the Vegas Golden Knights and the Edmonton Oilers, both tied at 50 points, with the Seattle Kraken in third with 48. The Vancouver Canucks are only 11 points behind, but it's a lot of parity in the league this year. It is a very even league, but the Vancouver Canucks aren't good. And when I say 11 points out of third place, they shouldn't try to bridge that gap. They shouldn't get close. They are needing to lose the way they're losing. They need this top pick. My mindset has completely changed. Going into this season, I thought the Vancouver Canucks were going to be a good team. I thought they were going to be an awesome team, and I thought that we're going to have fun this season. It's been the total opposite of that, and it's now turned into how bad can we lose? It's not great. It is not great at all. Now, overall, there's been a whole team structure problem. There's been things that are going on in terms of trades and stuff like that, drama. We'll talk about the big story. Now, we all know Quinn Hughes got traded. There was a bit of drama on whether he would re-sign or not. Ultimately, he decided he was not going to come back, told the Canucks team, traded him like he had a no-trade clause, and they got rid of him for Marco Rossi, Zeke William, and Liam Ogren, plus a first-round pick from the Minnesota Wild that is currently pretty high in the draft. It is sitting at about just outside the conference final winners, so it's about 27th right now. They've also added some players through free agency this season, and they've also added some prospects this season who have climbed the ranks to play games with the big club. So I'm going to get into the big player portion of this. There's a bunch of players that did not make the player predictions at the start of the season because they either weren't on the team or I didn't think they would be in the NHL. Now, I will quickly put up those players and do those quickly, and then we'll get into the big point predictions. We'll go from bottom to up to all the way up to who I thought was going to get the most points. We're starting with who I think is going to get the least, and then we'll do the 2 goaltenders afterwards. So let's start off with the players who either got added to the Vancouver Canucks or I just didn't do a prediction of them because I thought they wouldn't spend a majority of the time in Vancouver and a lot of the time in Abbey, which kind of is the case. We'll just go over their stats. Starting off with the 2 goaltenders, we got Yuri Patera, who played 1 game. He has an .825 save percentage, a 7.39 goals against average with 0 shutouts. Honestly, he came in when the goalies were hurt, and he got shelled and expected. Next up is Nikita Tolopilo, who through 4 games played has a .911 save percentage and a .274 goals against average with 0 shutouts. Honestly, he's been quite impressive. I really like his play. He's big. I feel like it definitely helps him. He knows how to play with his size. He's been very impressive in Abbotsford. He was pretty impressive in Vancouver, although he does have a .274 goals against average. The fact that he had a .911 save percentage throughout those 4 games is good. It's a small sample size, but he's not going to be the next big NHL goaltender for the Vancouver Canucks. But for a guy who's coming in as a 3rd string, he was very good. All right, moving into the forwards, we got Marco Rossi, who has, in 8 games, 1 goal, 1 assist for 2 points. He's been dealing with a bit of injuries. He's had a bit of struggles moving in. He's been playing on the line with Jake DeBrusk and Brock Besser, who also have been struggling as of late. So I'm giving him a little bit of the benefit of the doubt, but he does need to pick it up. And when he's fully healthy, I expect that he will. Liam Ogren is next with 12 in 12 games played, he has 3 goals, 2 assists, 5 points. He's definitely smashing expectations. I did not think he would be putting up points the way he did. I honestly thought he was going to go back to Abbotsford. Been very impressed with him. He also has 2 shootout winners in the time, with Kevin Lankinen being in net for both of them. And the one time Demko is in net, he got stopped. But Ogren's been great, very impressive. The next up is Zeev Boyum with 12 games played, 1 goal, 3 assists, 4 points. He's 20 years old. He gets a bunch of leeway because he's still young. This is his first full season in the NHL. He's been impressive. I definitely think he has a lot of potential, and we'll see if he actualizes that potential. Next up is probably the biggest surprise of them all, with the most games played throughout this list. Tom Wielander, 33 games. He has 2 goals, 10 assists for 12 points. He's been very good this season. Not only offensively with the 2 goals, 10 assists, 12 points, he's been very good defensively. He's a stud. He's going to be very good for the Vancouver Canucks moving forward. I'm very excited that he made this jump at 20 years old. Next up is Braden Coots, who played 3 games, did not register a point with the Vancouver Canucks, but impressed right away. Honestly, for a 15th overall pick to be where he is in his development is really good, and although it could take 1 to 3 more years for him to be in the NHL. Like, he could shock next season and make the NHL. I don't think he makes the NHL. He probably makes Abbotsford for 2 seasons and then joins the Vancouver Canucks. I still think where he is in his development for a 15th overall pick in a bit of a weaker draft, it's definitely a good thumbs up. Jonathan Lekkerimäki has been dealing with injuries. He's got 8 games played. He has a goal and an assist for 2 points. He also has been very impressive in Abbotsford in his time played down there, but he's also dealing with injuries. Honestly, his development might take a bit of a stunt. He's still trying to get used to the physical game. I like his game. I think that his shot's awesome. He's going to be a very good offensively talented player for the Vancouver Canucks in the future. But if he doesn't grow into the physical game, I start to worry for him a little bit. His time in Abbey is definitely going to help. And I think that, you know what, just give him some space in Abbotsford, which I totally thought what Vancouver Canucks should have done this entire season, and see how he plays. He needs to be on power play 1, though, next time he does come up, because that shot, they need a shot like that when Elias Pettersson's not using his. Next up is Joseph Lebate, who played 1 game with the Vancouver Canucks and did not register a point. Honestly, he was just in because we were so hurt. Honestly, I didn't expect much. Next up is someone who I didn't expect much out of, but was very impressive in his games with the Vancouver Canucks. With 8 games played, it was Mackenzie McEachran with a goal, 3 assists for 4 points. He was very impressive, although it was a very small sample size, and he did have some scoreless games. He's a depth player. We don't expect him to be scoring a lot. And honestly, we didn't expect the scoring that he did actually put up. And I felt like they should have kept him in Vancouver just a little bit longer to see how he would play. He's been impressive in Abbotsford for me. In terms of a depth guy, he could potentially be a little bit of a breakthrough depth guy who joins, and doesn't really earn a big contract, but contributes a lot. I like his play. He's probably going to stick in Abbotsford for a while, though. Honestly, either way, whether he leaves in the free agency and finds a depth role elsewhere or sticks in the AHL, I didn't expect much. Next up is Pierre-Olivier Joseph. I'm not surprised I actually didn't do a prediction for him. I think I just thought he was going to be in Abbotsford. In 13 games, 1 assist. He's very frantic on the ice, but I feel like he's just a little bit better than Noah Juulsen was. Not really that much to say about him because, the expectations being low and him just being a depth defenseman, kind of a more competition for those young guys. Yeah. Next up is Nils Åman. He played 2 games. We all know what Nils Åman's about, and he's only played 2 games, so not really that much. Next up is Lukas Reichel, who played 14 games and only recorded an assist for the Vancouver Canucks. He hasn't looked too shine, like he hasn't shined in Abbotsford for the games that I've seen. He definitely has the skill, but I feel like it's the same story down in Abbotsford at the moment, where you see the glimpses of the skill and what he can be, but he's not getting the points. He can't finish. It's just not happening. Not sure what Reichel's future holds with the Vancouver Canucks. I honestly think he might leave in the offseason. I don't know if he is an RFA. The Vancouver Canucks might look to move him. They have been looking to move him. Not sure. We'll see. Next up is David Kampf, who has 2 goals, 1 assist for 3 points in 22 games. He's just kind of a stopgap for Teddy Bluger before he comes back. We really needed a defensive center. He got let go by Toronto. Vancouver picked him up because they needed to lessen Elias Pettersson's defensive workload to hopefully get him a little bit more offensive minutes, even though Elias Pettersson is a very good defensive center. Kampf has kind of just been, decently defensive. His offense, though, is just dreadful. Although he has 2 goals and an assist, it seems like offense does die on a stick. And that is it for the portion of players that weren't a part of the predictions. I know that was a bit long. I do apologize. We're getting into the predictions now, so let's hop right in. All right, first up is Vitaly Kravtsov. Now, I didn't do games played for the predictions, but some of them I did kind of do it if they were in a bit of a depth role. I said that in maybe about 20 games, Kravtsov would get 2 goals, 1 assist for 3 points. He never played a game for Vancouver, got sent down to Abbotsford, and then his contract was terminated, and he went back to Russia. So, yeah. Next up is Max Sasson, who was our first surprise. I thought he would play about 20 games yet again. I thought that due to his waiver exemption, he would not be up in Vancouver a lot. I was hoping for less injuries than we definitely have gotten. I thought he would get 2 goals, 4 assists for 6 points. In 40 games, he has 8 goals, 2 assists for 10 points. So he is, playing a little bit better than I thought he would, and he definitely earned more games than I thought he would, and I like what I've seen from Sasson, but he's definitely more of a depth center. Next up is Victor Mancini, who I said would probably play about 40 games. I thought they were going to do a 3-way 40-game split between Forbert, DPD, and Mancini, kind of get them evenly split into the lineup, and I thought he would get 2 goals, 4 assists for 6 points. He's played 5 games with the Vancouver Canucks and has 0 points. He's kind of gotten outplayed by Tom Wielander. He also got hurt right before that. So honestly, not really a lot of it is his control. He's been down in Abbotsford because there's really no spot for him. He kind of just got beat out in the depth chart. Next up is DPD, who I thought assuming 82 games, I thought maybe they do a 40-40 split with Mancini and Forbert. He would have 2 goals, 5 assists for 7 points. In 37 games, he's got 1 goal, 5 assists for 6 points. So he's a goal away from matching my expectations in half the games than I thought he would. And honestly, that's pretty good. Didn't think he would be that big of an offensive contributor. It's not really a huge offensive contribution for him, but if he can pass that goal that I set, even though, he has no clue about it, it's good. He's also been pretty good defensively. I think he's developing well. He doesn't need I feel like if you send him back to Abbotsford, if Forbert was healthy, it would help him out a little bit, but Forbert's not healthy. He needs to stay in the NHL. Speaking of Forbert, he is next up on this list with 1 goal, 8 assists for 9 points in 40 games. He's played 2 games with the Vancouver Canucks and he's been hurt, and there's rumors that he is out for the rest of the season. So yeah, that sucks for Forbert. But next up is Arshdeep Bains with 4 goals, 6 assists from 10 points in about 30 to 40 games was my prediction for him. In 26 games with the Vancouver Canucks this year, he had 1 goal, 4 assists for 5 points. Honestly, I think that my prediction was actually I think that my prediction was a little lenient on the side that I think he would put up more than I actually thought he would. I was being a little nicer when I gave that prediction. He could have probably reached that. I mean, throughout a little bit more than half, he was kind of there. He's halfway there in points. He was close in assists, but not goals. It could have happened, but honestly, I think that he might not hit it. I'm not sure if he plays. He is up currently with the big club. He was playing a little bit in Abbotsford, but I don't know if he hits it. Next up is definitely probably the biggest surprise of the season for the Vancouver Canucks is Linus Karlsson. I thought he would play a full season, whether that was 82 games or whether that was, missing some games. I didn't do game predictions because it's very hard to do those with injuries and stuff like that. I thought he would get 10 goals, 11 assists for 21 points. Well, through 40 games this season, he has matched 10 goals and he's only 2 assists away from reaching the assist marker that I thought he would with 19 points, 10 goals, 9 assists. He's definitely been a surprise for the Vancouver Canucks, earning himself a $2.25 million deal over 2 seasons with an extension. He's definitely been a great surprise. His offense is blooming a little bit. I definitely saw it coming because of the Abby Canuck run. I thought he was the best offensive player. He's kind of like the Dakota Joshua of this season, where he's able to get into the greasy areas in front of the net. He's a very hard worker. He's strong on his feet. Although his speed isn't quite up there, the game that he plays does kind of help him a little bit. He doesn't really need that speed. Linus Karlsson's been great, and it's awesome to see. It's nice to see that he's going to be sticking around. Next up, Tyler Myers, 5 goals, 18 assists, 23 points, but I thought he would get this season through 41 games. He's got 1 goal, 7 assists for 8 points. I don't know if I was being generous, but he is very defensively relied on, but honestly, the offense just hasn't really been there. I thought 23 points was relatively conservative for a goal. I'm not sure if he's going to hit it. I do not think he's going to hit it. But honestly, if he can get at least like 15, get closer to 20, that would be nice. Before I move on to the next one, I just do want to say that I was doing these predictions based off of how they have played before. I looked at past seasons, tried to average out and see maybe if they would reach a little bit more or if they would maybe get a little bit less or right around the same. There's some players where I thought they would get more. But next up is Teddy Blueger, who I thought would get 6 goals, 19 assists for 25 points. He has played 2 games and does have a goal for the Vancouver Canucks. He has been hurt. Apparently, he has joined them on their most recent road trip, so he is there practicing, I think still in a non-contact jersey. It has been a disappointing year for Teddy Blueger on the front that it's hard for him to stay healthy. He's had some setbacks, right? But in terms of production, you can't blame him when he's only played 2 games. Next up is Drew O'Connor, who I predicted to have 11 goals, 16 assists for 27 points this season in whatever games. He currently, in 43 games, has 10 goals, 6 assists for 16 points. So he needs 10 more assists and 1 more goal. I think that he's outproducing in terms of the goal mark, and that's a good thing. He does kind of get a little bit streaky, like a 7-game goal streak, or he's 7 goals in like a certain amount of games, and then he had a little bit, it was like 3, I think, after that, in like a certain small amount of games, and then now I think he's gone down a little bit, but honestly, I think that he could possibly hit the 27-point mark. He only needs 11 more, and he got 16 in the first half, so I think Drew O'Connor can get there. We'll see. Next up is Marcus Pettersson, who I thought would get 5 goals, 25 assists for 30 points. At this moment right now, through 43 games, he has 1 goal, 8 assists for 9 points. He has just 1 more point than Tyler Myers does, that being an assist. And although I do think that his, the way that it was spread out where it was like very assist heavy instead of goals was correct, he's not hitting those. He's not hitting the 30 points that I thought he would get. It's a little disappointing, but honestly, he's been very defensively focused on this season, so yeah. Next up is Aatu Räty, who I thought would get 15 goals and 15 assists for 30 points. I thought he was going to take a step forward, and although I do think that he has been one of the most impressive forwards for the Vancouver Canucks this season, and that Adam Foote hasn't given him the opportunities that a lot of fans and a lot of people think that he should have gotten. In 35 games, he has 3 goals, 8 assists for 11 points. I wasn't sure if he was going to hit that goal of 30 points. He might hit it if Adam Foote was like playing him. He could go on a little bit of a streak. I don't think he's going to hit 15 goals, but I think he might hit 15 assists, depending on if Adam Foote plays him, and that's not been guaranteed. Next up is Kiefer Sherwood, who I thought would get 17 goals, 23 assists for 40 points, and throughout 43 games so far, he has 17 goals, but only 6 assists for 23 points. So although he has the same amount of points that I thought he would do assists, he has reached the amount of goals I thought he would, which halfway through the season is very impressive. Now, I don't think he'll play the rest of the season out with the Vancouver Canucks, so even if he does reach 40 points, which he potentially can, he will not do it here. I hope that he gets traded. I'm a big Kiefer Sherwood guy, though. There's a Sherwood jersey on the wall, I think. It might be behind that Crosby jersey, but I think that he should get traded. He shouldn't reach 40 points on the Vancouver Canucks, but it's happy to see that he's outproducing where I thought he would be. Next up is Nils Hoglander, who I thought would have a 2020 season for 40 points. I thought he'd have a bounce-back season, play really good, because I thought another player would have a bounce-back season, and I thought he'd be up there playing up with him, but through 10 games so far this season, he has 0 points. He got injured at the start of the season and missed all the way until like December, so he hasn't gotten into the lineup until the last 10 games, and he hasn't been as offensively productive as he usually has been. And although he has been a little bit streaky, he does usually put up some points. The fact he hasn't put up any is a little concerning. We'll see what comes from the end of the season, the next half for Nils Hoglander, but hopefully he's able to at least put up some points, because I want to see him produce. I want to see him develop. Next up is the only star player who I think is actually going to reach his prediction, and that is Filip Hronek, who I thought would get 5 goals, 45 assists for 50 points this season. Currently, in 43 games, he has 3 goals, 23 assists for 26 points. He is kind of on pace for it. I think he's just a little bit behind now, that we're 2 games ahead. 2 games over the half of the season, but he can definitely catch up a little bit, if he has a good game. I think that he can get there, but it still might be close. Currently, he's on pace probably just to be at like 49, 48, so hopefully he's able to pick it up a little bit. All he needs is 2 more goals and just the rest assists, so hopefully he can score 2, and he'll surely get assists. Next up is Philip Hedl, who I thought would have a healthy season, and I thought he would get 20 goals, 30 assists for 50 points. Now, this one was a bit generous when I did do it, because he hasn't really reached that mark at all throughout his career. He hasn't been as consistent as that, and I did think that it would be a healthy season from him. In 6 games this season, he had 3 goals, 0 assists for 3 points, and then he got that big hit from Tom Wilson, and it took him out until now. He's still out. He's currently in a non-contact jersey with the Vancouver Canucks on this road trip with Teddy Bluger. Hopefully he's able to come back, but honestly, it's not. I feel like he should sit out, but you're not going to stop a guy from sitting out, especially a professional hockey player. So he will come back, and hopefully he stays healthy. That's just my only wish. Next up is Evander Kane, who I thought would get 25 goals, 25 assists for 50 points. He is currently through 42 games at 6 goals, 14 assists for 20 points. He is underperforming what I thought he would be at, and honestly, it was a bit of a generous prediction, because although I did believe in Evander Kane, I didn't think he would reach this goal. I was just kind of being hopeful, and definitely hasn't been where I thought it would be. He started picking up his goal scoring just a little bit at a certain point in the season, but it did fall off a little bit, and he did struggle at the start, and now he's struggling now. He had a little bit where he was doing good. It just hasn't been the player that I kind of thought he would be here, and it's been a little disappointing. Next up is Connor Garland, who is currently hurt, but in the predictions I have for him, he had 22 goals, 33 assists for 55 points. He is currently through 33 games, got 7 goals, 15 assists for 22 points. He's not going to reach 55. He's going to definitely have a little bit less than he usually does on his average, but I would say that it's been a little bit of a disappointing season, but Garland is a middle 6 kind of guy. I don't expect him to put up a lot of points. I do think that 55 is a bit of a jump. I think he was around 50-ish on like 2 of the seasons he's played with the Vancouver Canucks. So it was a bit of a reach in the prediction, although I thought he would at least kind of get close. There's still a chance for him to get close, but honestly, with the way the team's playing, I don't see it. We're almost there, just 4 more players, and then the 2 goaltenders. Next up is Jake DeBrusk, who I thought would get 30 goals, 25 assists for 55 points. Currently, through 42 games, he has 12 goals, 10 assists for 22 points. I'm kind of getting the way you would weigh more goals to assists based on their, like, how many points, like how many goals they would get and how many assists they would get. I'm getting those consistently pretty right. The thing I also got right is that Garland and DeBrusk would have the same amount of points. They both have 22. DeBrusk has been struggling as well recently, and it's been very noticeable for the Vancouver Canucks. The big 3 wingers, their most paid wingers, and we'll get into Besser next, have been struggling, and it's definitely hurt the team. Although I would hope that they would pick up their points, I do want to lose so that we would get a top pick. I don't know how to feel. Moving on to Besser, while we're in this conversation, I thought he would get 35 goals, 25 assists for 60 points. I thought he was going to have a good year, sign the contract, be happy, come in and really produce and pick up his game back to where it could be. And it's been a disappointing season because through 41 games, he's got 9 goals, 12 assists for 21 points. He has less points than Garland and DeBrusk. He's been struggling a lot recently as well. His goal scoring is low. Obviously, I thought he would score more goals than he gets assists because he's more of a goal scorer. He has less goals than he does assists, and he doesn't even have 10 goals yet. For the Canucks Ringers, it has truly been a disappointing season. Through Besser, DeBrusk, Kane, Linus Karlsson, and Kiefer Sherwood have definitely been the highlights for the season, but those are the guys you want to be the highlights for your wingers. You want it to be those big top guys, and it's definitely what's hurting the Vancouver Canucks. It's the lack of offense from those guys. Now we'll get into the last two players. Elias Pettersson is up next, though, with 30 goals, 60 assists, 90 points I thought he would get. Now, that was generous due to his, how he was last season, but I thought he would be able to get back to his old ways. Obviously, he has looked a little bit better this season. He has looked better than he has the past few years, but it's not the step up that we thought it would be. Through 35 games, he got 11 goals, 15 assists for 26 points. He's up there in the lead for the team. He's tied currently with Hronek. He would be in first place because he has more goals, but it's not where I thought he would be. Obviously, if we're at 35 games throughout his season, I thought he would be probably at about the 40 goal mark or 40 point mark. But although his points haven't been as good, his defense has definitely stood up, and he's definitely looked like an elite two-way guy. I just need the points. I just need a little bit more points, and it's not there right now. Last up for the skaters is Quinn Hughes. Now, I thought he would get 15 goals, 80 assists for 95 points this season. I thought he would stick with the Canucks the whole way through because I was delusional. But 26 games with the Vancouver Canucks this year, and then he got traded. He had 2 goals, 21 assists for 23 points, and probably if he finished and was playing really, really good to get like 95 points, he probably would have 10, maybe a little bit less than the rest assists. So but the Vancouver Canucks parted ways with him. So the last season, so he will not be able to reach 95 points with the Vancouver Canucks. It's done. 23 points. That's all he's going to get. 2 goals, 21 assists. Honestly, it was just a disappointing year for the team. I wouldn't say disappointing for Quinn Hughes, although he didn't look like himself. You know what I mean? He still was the best player on the team, but he just didn't look like his normal self. He's still Quinn Hughes, and he got traded, and it's because the team did bad. All right, last up is the goaltending. First up is Kevin Lankinen, who I thought would have a .906 with a .255, about a .255 goals against average to a .266 goals against average with 2 shutouts. Obviously, when we get to Demko, you'll see about how many games I thought he would play. But right now, 21 games, he has an .882 with a .341. Definitely has been struggling this season. He's looked a little bit better as of recent, but he's a good backup goaltender, I still think. The team hasn't been good in front of him. Honestly, I think if the team was better, his stats would look a little bit better. But he has been certainly disappointing this season, which does suck because we did hand him out a $4.5 million contract, and he has a no-move clause. Honestly, I thought he had a good year. I didn't think we should have handed him out that contract. I do like Kevin Lankinen, and I'm happy that we have him on the team, but I honestly thought we should have went with Arthur Shilovs as the guy to move forward as the backup instead of paying a goaltender $4.5 million when we could have used that money elsewhere. I'm hoping that he has a good bounce back because the Vancouver Canucks are apparently willing to pay how much money they are going to pay their 2 goaltenders for the next few seasons, so he's got to step it up. But so does the team. Last but not least, we have Thatcher Demko, who I thought through 41 games max, so Lankinen would probably get 41. Maybe we get Tolopilo in there as well, you know what I mean? But I thought he would have a .915 with a .255, and I didn't say his shutouts, but I would guess probably like 5. But so far this season, through 19 games, Thatcher Demko has a .902 save percentage with a .279 goals against average with 1 shutout. Obviously, health has been a thing for Thatcher Demko this year, so it isn't as surprising that his stats have slipped a little bit. They are still decent. I'm just hoping that they would have been better. Hopefully he was able to get it back up, but with how the team's playing, I definitely don't see that happening. But without further ado, that is it. We have finally got through it. My back is killing me from sitting up straight. I don't know why, but yeah. Without further ado, that is it for this one. If you're a Canucks fan and you enjoy this kind of content, make sure to hit that subscribe button and leave a like down below and a comment. What do your thoughts on the season? You could roast me for my predictions if you wanted to. They were ridiculous. Honestly, I thought the team would be doing way better than they are, and I feel like if they were doing a little bit better than they were, these predictions would look a little better, but yeah, they're not doing great so far. But yeah, that is it for this one. The video on your right is the video from Wednesday. The video on your left is the video from Monday. Subscribe's right down under there, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.